Sorry. I just wanted to start it off with the Jennifer Coolidge. You look like the 4th of July.
Which is so funny because this is coming out the week of the 4th of July.
Happy 4th of July, everybody. Everybody in the club getting tipsy.
Let's make sure we still keep all 10 digits if you started with 10 by the end of that weekend.
Oh, please. Yeah, please keep all your fingies.
Don't stick at things in places they're not supposed to go.
Keep all your metacarpals. Is it metacarpals or metatarsals?
Yes. Anyways.
I feel like you have an intro for us, babe.
I do. So this podcast is part of the You Run Podcast Network, where you can find all sorts of fun and entertaining podcasts like ours that revolve around true crime, horror, pop culture, TV shows, movie reviews, and everything in between. So with that, welcome to the Paranormal Misfit Podcast, where the curious roam, the weird feels at home, and horror is just another day in the office. Thanks, Nino. I'm your host, Chrissy, by the way, before I forget that part.
I'm your co-host. Hi, everybody. I'm your co-host, Nino Daniel. And this episode is sponsored by literally no one. So if you are a business, reach out to me.
And if you are into the ADHD factor here, like, we are right there, top tier.
Fulfill our prescriptions. You know what I mean? I know there's that new trend I'm doing where like I give a shout out at the beginning of every episode. Mm-hmm. Don't know who I've shouted out, but today I would like to shout out my friend Jordan, who was also standing with me at the altar during my wedding day. So shout out to Jordan. I love you so much. And his mom, Mama Fox. So yeah.
Very nice.
How are you doing today, friend?
I am fantastic. Fantastic. It's been
fantastic.
Good.
Fantastic. What was that? I'm so sorry. I'm genuinely. What was that?
I'm gonna
Are we
reenact
trying
that
some like
stupid
electromagnetic like EMF recordings, or what is that? Oh, what is that you're wearing? What is that that you're wearing?
Guys. Let me move this microphone and adjust this computer real quick so you can see. It's really nice and soft.
Unless you're listening to this on your Bluetooth in your car.
It is. It's us. It's us.
Is that a Paranormal Misfits podcast tank top?
And let me tell you, this is the most comfy tank top.
We have good merch.
We do. I have a magnet on my fridge. I have some that I bought a little extra of them. Same thing as the stickers. I got little extras of that. So
I love that. We you can purchase our merchandise.
You can, and it's always linked in our show notes.
Always, and wherever you're listening to this podcast, whether that's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google,
iHeartRadio. No, Google stopped doing their podcasting.
No, Google stopped Google. Oh, God.
I know.
iHeartRadio, wherever you're listening to this podcast that offers you the opportunity to either subscribe, favorite, or give us 5 stars, do all 3. And then I won't have to send La Llorona after you.
I do want to shout out a friend of mine here in town because she did give us a 5-star review on our last episode of Robert Johnson. Because the movie one has not released yet. That will be releasing today.
Ayo.
Woo. Mirabelle, thank you. And
yes.
I do need to catch up with you since I have left Johnson & Johnson.
Oh my gosh, Mirabelle, you've got a lot to catch up on.
Oh yeah. Oh, all the teas.
I will tell everyone, all the pre-conversations we do before we hit record, I just literally, Chrissy and I unload our week to each other.
We do.
Prior to hitting record.
And then we sometimes still unload after the fact too.
Oh my God. No, the fact of the matter is it's the fact of the matter.
Oh, yes.
I'm also trying out some new lighting. So if you're watching this on YouTube or looking at the clips from the social media posts that we do, I'm trying some new lighting.
So let them know how it goes.
Yeah, that way I don't look haggard. I should raise this up just a bit. Okay,
we're going for Harry Potter, guys. Well, I said
haggard, not Hagrid. You can't be ADHD and also not here.
I can.
Pick a
You'd be surprised.
struggle.
I can't.
Oh my God. Okay,
My balls.
bestie, what are we talking about today?
So, I'm sure everybody is well versed, especially if you're listening to us, in the Conjuring universe of movies.
That
We
part.
are going to be talking about the house and family that inspired the first Conjuring movie.
Why'd you say that so reluctantly? Is there anything you want to tell the audience?
All the time. All the time I want to tell the audience. Okay.
I have to put her on the spot.
So I already well, Nino knows this, and I think there's a good portion of you guys who already know this because I've covered a couple of their cases in the past. So we all know the Conjuring universe is inspired. We'll call it inspired.
Loosely.
By the various infamous cases that the Warrens, they're paranormal investigators from, I think, between like the 70s to the 90s, I think, is when they were active. I don't know. I'd have to look that back up. So Ed and Lorraine Warren, they are well known for quite a few of the paranormal cases that I have covered.
I'm staying quiet for safety.
Yes, you are. I am not the biggest fan of them, and I know people know this, but do with whatever information you will and do your own research. I have done my own. Now, while the Conjuring movies are fantastic, like great cinematic, like
just succulent
they do well.
Movies.
Some of the stuff that is shared in those movies are a little over dramatized.
Yeah.
A little misinformation, depending on what you're looking at. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty. So we're gonna go into it.
I was gonna fucking grill you and be like, tell us more. No. I feel like really quick though, I just want to point this out. If y'all come after Chrissy for having that opinion, I'm coming after you.
And so is La Llorona.
And so, oh, baby, La Llorona is going to be the opening act to the headlining shit I would do if you'd like come after my friend. Anyways.
Yes.
Tell us more.
All right. So I'm going to give you the background of the Warrens. The Warrens are obviously a married couple. Ed Warren is a self-proclaimed. He proclaimed this himself. That's what that means. For anyone who's...
thank you for clarifying. I had no idea.
Hey, you know what? People like me are out there listening, okay? Anyways, no, just kidding. So he's self-taught and self-professed demonologist. I don't know how you can just be like, I'm a demonologist because I said so.
Did you study at like the University of the Underground Lizard People in Illuminati studies?
Maybe, who knows? And Lorraine, everyone knows Lorraine to be a medium. She's a clairvoyant. They created and are part of the New England Society for Psychic Research. Or is that paranormal research? Might have been paranormal research, and I was just thinking the word psychic when I wrote it. So they have investigated over 10,000 cases.
And for those of you who don't know what 10,000 means, that's one more than 9,999.
Get with you.
Honestly, I'm on one today.
You are on it. So they're also, like I said, they're paranormal investigators and they're authors. I want everyone to keep that in mind because they do have quite a few books. Now, they do pick and choose which cases they write about. We'll leave out there. Now, with the Conjuring franchise, I'm sure everybody knows this part, Lorraine Warren, because Ed Warren had already passed by then, was involved in the filming of the, I can't remember if it's the first 3, maybe the first 2 Conjuring movies.
We'll call it first 2 for safety.
Yeah, we're gonna do that.
Thanks.
So, yeah. Let's see. So, one of the things... Oh, they founded I was wrong, guys. I apologize. 1952 is when they founded their... Oh, that's right. It was the Psychic Research Committee.
I always knew it. I knew you had it in you.
I know. It is considered the oldest ghost hunting group in New England, by the way.
And
They
really
gained.
quick, can I
Go
just
ahead.
clarify? By New England, you don't mean Britain.
No,
You
no,
mean
I
like on
mean
the
the
New Jersey side of
Northeast.
life? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
You never know.
Connecticut. A lot of their cases stemmed in Connecticut and New York. If you think
Connecticut.
about it,
Okay.
they gained their notoriety. I don't know if I would call it respected, but they gained notoriety as paranormal
You didn't have to make
investigators.
that face when you fucking said that. Like, you didn't have to make that face.
I am.
This bitch hates these people. Like,
I try
Jesus.
not to be mean. I'm sorry. My face says it before I do.
Oh
It's
God,
always been my feedback.
dude, your face is on Internet Explorer at this point. Your face be buffering. Like,
So their initial investigation was actually Amityville Haunting.
oh, cute.
Their two most heavily popularized investigations were actually part of the Conjuring franchise. Like I said, one is the first one, so Conjuring, where they call it the Conjuring House. Oddly enough, clearly Hollywood has to give you a little bit more spooky than what it may be. Although, have you ever seen what that house looks like in real life? Like, I know I sent you a picture earlier.
Isn't it like, it looks like a log cabin?
Yes, it's a long log cabin.
Yeah, it's like, it almost looks like like dare I say, almost like a reception hall, like from the outside.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean that in a rude way. I'm just saying, like, perceptionally, it's literally a hallway setup kind of thing, and it's log cabiny.
Yeah.
It's giving Tom Sawyer.
To be fair, I think that house is creepier than the house they used in the Conjuring movie.
Oh, 100%.
Like, but gotta spice it up. Can't go completely true, I guess. I always love when these movies do this and they're like loosely based on a true story.
And by loosely, it probably means like this story took place on the day.
Yeah.
And that's it. The only thing in common is the day.
So like I said, the movie.
What?
The movies are based off of their possessions, the possessions they were a part of. There's 3. So the news article I found might have been before the Devil Made Me Do It came out.
Okay.
Because it went first the Conjuring House up in New England, which is I think it's like Harrisville, Connecticut is where the actual house is. And then they moved to another place in Connecticut, which, to be fair, whenever I watched it, I thought that shit was in Texas. I'm not gonna lie.
I dead ass thought the same fucking thing. Or like somewhere in the fucking South. I always thought it was in the South.
It's not. The Devil Made Me Do It was not in the South, it was in the North. They moved all the way over to England. I don't know if you remember that one. There is a Conjuring one where it's over in England with the that's like another family. But it was right after the Conjuring house up in Connecticut, then moved over to England, and then they went back to Connecticut and this is where they got a lot of notoriety, was with this particular haunting, because The Devil Made Me Do It is the first time ever in the United States where someone tried to use The Devil Possessed Me in court of law.
Oh, yeah.
And that was because the Warrens were
involved
right behind it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When did the not that you need to know this, but this sounds like something along the lines of like, when did that plea of insanity become a thing? Do we know? Can someone research that and just comment below or
comment
something?
below. Send us a DM.
Send
or
us
an
a
email.
DM or an email or a pigeon. I don't know. That just makes me think, like, when did the plea of insanity come into place? Anyways, so someone said, hey, I tried killing someone because the devil possessed me. And then
used it in court. Alrighty. So I will cover that one later because there is a Netflix documentary on that family right now that's out. And I started watching it on one of my breaks and I didn't get to finish it. So I'm going to be going back to it. So it says, though the movies seem over dramatized and impossible to believe, the Warrens maintain that all of the events depicted actually transpired. Ed passed away in 2006. Lorraine was a consultant on the film and claims that she didn't let the directors take more dramatic license than was necessary.
Okay, girl.
Let's sit with that.
She didn't let them make it any more dramatic than necessary.
Meaning
Though
how it's perceived or how it's filmed and done in the actual movie
is
what happened. It's not over dramatized.
it's concurrent to the actual event.
Mm-hmm. All right, sit with it.
What if you don't want to? What if you're like, I'm done with my lunch?
You're like, what if I want to ask questions?
What if I want to? Hey, in the professional world, there's a 3-word sentence that makes anyone open up, and someone should have looked at Lorraine and been like, tell me more. Tell me more, Lorraine. Anyways, continue, bestie.
Alrighty. So let's move on to the family. So the Perrone family moved into a 14-room farmhouse in Harrisville,
Jesus.
Rhode Island. 14 rooms. So it was the father and mother and their 5 daughters. I'm just going to say it like that because that's a lot of girls.
That's a lot of girls.
That's a lot. So it is said that they noticed strange things happening immediately upon moving in. I don't know why you wouldn't notice anything while you're touring the house. I pay a lot of attention to my house when I look at them. But again, I've watched enough horror movies to be like, where does this go? What does this do? Why does this closet look this way? So anyways, it started small, right? Carolyn, the mom, would notice like the broom going missing, or maybe something moved on its own. She would hear sounds like something scraping against a kettle in the kitchen when no one was there. She would find small piles of dirt in the center of a newly cleaned kitchen floor. And at this time, the girls also started noticing spirits around the house. For the most part, they were harmless, but there were a few who would start to get angry.
Great. I mean, not, but like.
So, like, the main thing that creeped me out the most in the movie
Tell me.
was the clapping in the hide and seek game that they would play.
I would have like, if I were to ever do that and that happened to me, the way I would evaporate.
Yeah, I would immediately be done. We're good. Gotta go.
Send me to my maker. I'm done. I'm done.
You can protect me better than down here.
I'm so done. The way I'm like, Jesus, open your arms and the gates, please. This ain't it.
This is not.
This earth
not
shit.
Today.
This earth shit, taxes and ghosts. This ain't it.
All right. So it was alleged that the mom started to research the history of the home and discovered that it had been in the same family for about 8 generations, and that many people who lived in the house during this time period had died of mysterious or horrible circumstances. Now, we're talking about 8 generations. They moved in the 70s, so 1800s and stuff like that. Of course, they're going to die under mysterious circumstances because healthcare that wasn't there.
Did health even care?
No.
And did care even health?
No, not really. And if you think about it, like, they're in that area where, like, the witch trials and stuff went on. So everyone's going to be like, my horse died, you're a witch. Like, fuck you.
My horse died, you're a witch. Aw. Megan the Stallion, I'm so sorry.
I mean, kids could die of SIDS, like infants could die of SIDS or immediately after infancy or during their infancy or after birth. And like, they're going to be like, oh, the mom did it,
Did she?
Not with SIDS. I mean, could she have?
I don't know. Listen, I knew a guy named Sid, but he was just a gas station worker.
Jesus. Sudden infant death syndrome.
Oh, that too.
It's not funny, guys. I'm sorry. It's just his face that he was making while saying it. That's it. It's not funny.
Chrissy has RBF. I have like comedic resting face. Like,
there you go.
It's just animated. Anyways,
CRF.
So okay. CRF. So something about the 1800s and SIDS. Would you say?
I mean, a lot of the stop it. A lot of the things, if like it's unexplainable, they're gonna be like, oh, well, that creepy old lady down the street did it, or oh, that chick who hasn't married did it, or that lady who's a little bit too aggressive did it. Like, come on, leave them alone.
Calm down.
I know. So it said that several of the children drowned in a nearby creek. One was murdered, and a few of them hung themselves in the attic. Wild.
I'm so like hung up what in the attic? Like
Hung
clothing?
themselves.
Oh.
So the main ghost that gets portrayed in the film as the catalyst, right? Antagonist. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Or just the ghost?
Well, because remember, the family's claiming that there's multiple.
Oh, yeah.
So the antagonist of them all would be Bathsheba. To be
What'd
the
you
worst
call-
of them all.
What did you just call me?
So this is where, first off, I would just like to say us as millennials had a fantastic time learning how to fact check everything because of all the
Ma'am.
fucking papers and shit we had to write. And like
Ma'am.
Wikipedia was not allowed to be our source.
Oh yeah, Wikipedia was never Wikipedia was not allowed to be a source until like when?
Never,
Like
because technically
5-10 years ago?
maybe, but technically if you use Wikipedia, you have to use the source within Wikipedia to prove it was a good source. So anyways, little tidbit for you guys. Our college days. High school days. Okay.
Turnitin.com.
Yep. Hey, do you remember AskJeeves.com?
Do I remember texting fucking Cha-Cha.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so it stated whoever the spirit was, she perceived herself to be the mistress of the house, and she resented the competition my mother posed for that position, said Andrea Perone, the oldest of the 5 girls. Now, I will say, there are a couple of investigators, popular ones, who have interviewed and investigated the house, and Andrea has came into a couple of the episodes to kind of give her background. Ghost Brothers being one of them. I like those guys. They're hilarious. So it turns out that there was someone actually named Bathsheba Sherman who lived on the property in the mid-1800s. She is rumored to have been a Satanist, and there was evidence that she had been involved in the death of a neighbor's child. Though no trial ever took place, she was buried nearby a Baptist cemetery in downtown Harrisville. The Perones believe that it was Bathsheba's spirit that was tormenting them. According to the family, according to Andrea, the oldest daughter, the family experienced other spirits as well that smelled like rotting flesh.
I'm good.
And would cause beds to rise off the floor. She claims that her father would be entering the basement and feel a striking cold presence behind him. They often stayed away from the dirt-floored cellar, but the heating equipment would often fail mysteriously, causing Roger, who is the dad, to venture down to try and fix it. Oh, you don't want to come down here? I'm going to make you.
Oh, do you not want to?
Now, I would just like to say this. All right. Now, I know for the most part, like, especially with like Amityville, did you know that the family that said that they were having paranormal things happening was only a year after the murders actually happened? But they bought that house for $80,000. That big fucking house for $80,000.
The Amityville house?
Mm-hmm.
For $80K?
Yeah.
In what year?
When was Amityville? The 70s? Late 70s.
Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you had wealth. Okay.
Yeah. But they would tell you that they sunk their savings, which is the same thing they portrayed in the Conjuring movie. If you remember, like, you know, the mom's like, we need to leave, kind of thing. And the dad's like, no, we sunk our savings into this, blah, 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 blah. We got to stick it out. This fucking family stuck it out for 10 years.
In the Conjuring House?
Yes.
A decade. That's a decade.
Yeah.
That's a letter grade.
Right. 10 years. Okay. I just want you to sit with that one too. Okay, so it says over the 10 years the family lived in the house, the Warrens made multiple trips to investigate. At one point, Lorraine conducted a seance in an attempt to contact the spirits that were possessing the family. During the seance, Carolyn became possessed, speaking in tongues and rising from the ground in her chair. Andrea, this is the funny part, claims this is the oldest daughter, so clearly it was all the adults doing the seance. They made the kids go wherever. It says Andrea claimed to have secretly witnessed the seance. I thought I was going to pass out, she said. My mother began to speak in a language not of this world and a voice not of her own. Her chair levitated and she was thrown across the room. Now, though the movie version of the events with Ed performing an exorcism rather than a seance, Lorraine insists that she and her husband would never attempt one as they must be performed by Catholic priests. After the seance, Roger kicked the Warrens out, worried about his wife's mental stability, which I do remember that in the movie as well. According to Andrea, the family continued to live in the house due to financial instability until they were able to move out in 1980, at that point the spirits were silenced and the haunting ceased.
Okay, so listen, I'm not an architect, but the spirits were basically gone.
Yes.
They could have stayed.
They stayed for 10 years at that point.
Why not just... Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but like then wouldn't you and the spirits become familiar with each other at that point?
I mean, technically you could get possessed. They don't have to stay in a location. They just have to be attached to something. It can be an inanimate object. Yeah.
That makes no sense. Okay.
All right. So let's see. Now I went into my little Google search and there was a guy named Alex Arison. He's a guest writer. In 2022, he decided to stay in the Conjuring House because you can. The house, you can rent it and stay in it because why not capitalize on the fact that you own the Conjuring House? And it's just like, yeah, guys, it's haunted. Come stay.
Well, can you do the same thing with the Amityville house?
No, I think that's privately owned. But you can stay in Lizzie Borden. No, the Amityville house, it was pretty much proven that it's not haunted because there have been, I don't know how many people over the course of the years that have bought that house and nothing's ever happened. The mover, after that family moved out, who claimed all of that creepy shit, the mover went in there by himself to go get their shit and nothing happened either.
Lizzie Borden, you said?
Lizzie Borden. You can go stay in Lizzie Borden's house where her parents were hacked.
Oh, that's the Lizzie Borden took an axe, gave her mother 40 whacks. Yep. How does it go? After she saw what she had done, she gave her mother 41. Mm-hmm. Damn, girl. 81 whacks with an axe? You strong.
I mean, and angry.
You pissed.
Strong and angry.
You are pissed.
That PMSing was heightened.
Listen, she said, don't fucking eat my croissant.
Right.
Or whatever she started. I don't know. I wasn't there.
Don't eat my croissant.
That's the new one. Whenever people get mad, don't eat my croissant.
Don't eat my croissant. Alrighty. So this guy, obviously everyone has like a piqued interest because like I want to stay in it and see if something happens.
Sure.
So, decade later, so this guy says, nearly a decade later, my interest in the well-known haunting combined with my previous paranormal experiences made me want to investigate what was really going on in that house. Was it all just a Hollywood hoax? Does something truly otherworldly inhabit the farmhouse? He decided to try and find out.
Okay.
So the house is located about 6 hours from his home in upstate New York. My God. And it was finally dusk when my boyfriend and I made it there. Now, this is literally, like, in the middle of fucking nowhere. Like, nowhere. Like, phone reception goes out nowhere.
Oh, no, thank you.
Yeah, no.
No
it says we pulled up the long, winding gravel driveway, passing numerous no trespassing signs and security cameras along the way. My stomach was in knots as the scenes from the movie played in my head. When the quaint two-story farmhouse came into view, I remember thinking how small it was in comparison to the large manor featured on the big screen. We were greeted by the friendly homeowner, Corey, as well as his 2 big German Shepherd puppies. I would be playing with the dogs.
Oh.
He and his wife, Jennifer, bought the Conjuring House in June of 2019.
Recently?
Soon after, they began welcoming brave souls and paranormal skeptics to rent the house for a night. They have since sold the house, but the new owners offer overnight stays as well. Immediately upon entering the home, I felt like I was in a space where time stood still. The house was built in several stages, the oldest part dating back to the 1730s. Exposed wood beams lined the ceiling, and gaps in the floorboard made the second floor visible from below. Even
Oh,
the
I'd
decor was
scream.
creepy. The home is filled with Victorian decorations that conjure up the most eerie aesthetic. The most disturbing bit was a replica of the famed Annabelle ragdoll that lies in a
The
glass case.
farmed Annabelle ragdoll.
Sorry. It was famed. Famed Annabelle ragdoll that lies in a glass case where the coffee table should be. Fuck you. I don't like dolls like that. Even if it's a ragdoll, like for some strange those things creep me out.
When I found out that the Annabelle doll was
What's
in
a rag
fact a
doll?
Raggedy Ann doll,
I'm not gonna
ho,
lie. They should have kept it as the Raggedy Ann doll. I
because the
think it
one
would
that they
have.
got for, I was like, when did the Annabelle doll have her buckle fat removed from her cheeks?
Right?
Jesus.
So while showing us the property, Corey withheld stories of his own supernatural experiences in the house as he didn't want to shape our expectations in any way. He did, however, divulge in one spine-chilling detail that came across more as a warning about a spot in the basement where a few people, including himself, claimed to be touched on the arm by an unknown entity. And if that didn't make going to the basement creepy enough, the dogs, who up to this point had been glued to their sides, refused to go in that area of the house. Now, I will say animals do tend to act weird. I hate when my cat stares in fucking corners and then I don't see anything. I'm like, bitch,
Honestly, same.
bitch, I'm going to make you blind.
Stop.
All right, they remained frozen at the top of the basement stairs as if there was an invisible brick wall in front of them. Corey said they had never gone down in the basement. He then said goodnight and made his way to the makeshift bachelor studio in the adjacent barn on the property. Now, to be fair, I'd rather stay in the house than the barn.
Facts.
Okay. Giving us private reign of the house for the next 14 hours.
Oh, thank God you said hours. I was like, if these motherfuckers stay in there
Say
for
14
2 weeks,
days.
a fortnight.
A fortnight. Eager to share my experience, I hopped on a live stream. The chat immediately filled up with curious viewers eager to see a glimpse inside the real Conjuring House. I gave a brief tour, and after about 45 minutes, I officially began our ghost hunting. Our ghost hunt while my boyfriend filmed. Poor boyfriend. Just the innocent bystander in all this. I'm just
here.
I'm just here. I turned off all the lights in the house and headed into one of the upstairs bedrooms in an attempt to communicate with whatever spirits may be there.
No.
I pulled out a set of L-shaped metal dowsing rods, which are spirit rods. If you've never seen them, you hold them and you ask questions and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, there's like vortexes and stuff that can yeah.
Well, they use it to find water.
Yeah, they
Farmers
do.
do.
They do.
They do.
I don't know how, but they do.
Yep. Which are kind of like a mobile Ouija board.
Oh, fuck off.
That are purported to respond to supernatural energies by moving in one direction or another. I gripped the rods tightly, and one in each hand, and then asked if there were any spirits in the room with us. Without hesitation, both rods, which were originally pointing directly in front of me, simultaneously spun to my right and pointed towards a dark, small, windowless attic space. You know what Christine doesn't fuck with? Attics. Or basements.
Hey, or
haunted
fucking houses. This bitch is like, I don't fuck with the barns and I don't fuck with the attics. And I'm over here like, I'm sorry. If my significant other, if my husband was like, hey, let's go stay in a haunted house. No.
But we'll go visit.
We'll go, you know what, we will drive right by it. And by drive right by it, I physically mean
right by it.
Lead foot down that shit. I'm burning
worry, guys.
shit. It's a log cabin. I'm burning shit.
Don't worry, guys. Nino and I and Desi plan to make it to New Orleans. We're going to be taking Nino. You know, there's a haunted hotel. It's like the Queen something. It was decently priced. And it's right there near like Bourbon and stuff. Anyways, Naturally, this would be the spot where spirits like to hang out, right? So as I kneel in the tiny attic space, hoping to avoid hitting any exposed nails in the walls, why the fuck would you go in if you cannot see?
Ma'am.
This is a sir, by the way.
Sir.
I am just reading his experience. All right. I appeared to be connecting with an entity who, through answering a series of yes or no questions via dowsing rods. So I'm trying to trying to envision this. So we're crawling in an attic space. It's tiny. This guy looks like he's at least 6 foot. Okay, he's a tall guy. And we're trying to get through a crawl space, not hit the nails, but also answering questions and keeping the dowsing rods completely straight in front of us.
Is that... I genuinely want to ask how, unless you have like the forearm and like biceptual and like elbowic strength to literally, you'd have to crawl like this. You'd have to crawl like one of those little like
the army men.
No, but or like a caterpillar digger thing. Like there's like certain yeah, you'd have to literally crawl so like mathematically at that point. So you have to keep the dowsing rods straight during Pride Month? I don't fucking think so. It is still Pride Month. It's only June 29th.
It is. That's right. And not to mention, you're like asking questions. I would be out of breath.
Bitch,
like,
I would
asking questions and paying attention. Like, that's a lot to pay attention to.
You have to cognitively focus forward. You have to keep the dowsing rods straight. You have to not hit any exposed nail. You have to answer questions. You have to fight for your life. You have to remember to breathe. And then you have to remember to be on high alert in case something fucking happens. So you have to do the Olympics of like scary shit.
Paranormal. Yeah.
Paranormal shit. Got it. Okay, cool.
Okay.
That should be a challenge. Like physically make that a challenge, like recreate that and do it for...
I want to find this guy's video. I'm sure it's on YouTube somewhere.
Let's do it.
So through a series of yes or no questions via the dowsing rods, identified itself as a spirit of a little boy. I had purposefully, there we
You
go.
got it.
Refrained from doing any research on the house beyond what I had seen in the films to stay unbiased as possible. If you're watching the films and that's like your point of reference, did you really stay unbiased? Help me.
I don't think I did.
Okay. So he learned to stay unbiased as possible, but did learn after a stay that several children reportedly died in the house.
Jesus.
Which was stated in the movie. It was.
So basically you're doing this and you didn't go through turnitin.com, did you?
No. Okay.
Okay.
So from what I could gather, the young entity seemed mostly intrigued by what we were doing, and I generally didn't feel like I was in harm's way. However, as soon as I was able to identify who I was communicating with, our connection was lost because the dowsing rod stopped to respond.
Maybe they lost reception in that fucking crawl space.
I mean, eventually, you hit a dead space. Energized by what had just occurred, the live stream chat flooded with a variety of questions and requests, but they all seemed to point in the direction. The basement. Because why not? You already went into the fucking attic.
Might as well go down below.
Let's go get dirty.
Hey.
Like, do you see this? That was the attic he went into. Do you see all those fucking nails?
Oh my god, bitch. I can't really see them, but I'm imagining them.
You know what?
Oh, okay. Fuck that. Fuck that and a sack of shit. Like, no.
I made my way down the rickety wooden stairs alone.
Come on, adjectives.
I thought his boyfriend was filming.
It's a gay couple? It's a gay couple?
Mm-hmm.
No, listen. Gay men. Listen, they already want to try to take away our motherfucking rights. Okay? Stop doing this shit. On some real shit. Okay, queen?
On top of that, we're this color.
Okay. I'm not... Goodbye. Continue to the basement down the
Okay,
rickety stairway.
that's right. On the side of a cabinet that looked like it had been there for ages.
Because it fucking has. Like, what the fuck do you want? Because it fucking has. Like, this house is old as dirt.
It is. It's old as dirt. That's why the basement has dirt. They never put
Ma'am.
concrete in.
Whoa. I guarantee you reading this, some bitch was like, oh god, it's riveting. Ho.
There were children's drawings illustrating someone with a bent neck.
Ew.
These drawings took a whole new meaning when I considered that one of the most well-known legends of the house is about someone who hung themselves from a tree on the property because of the movie. The movie. I need people to research.
I have something to say, but I ain't gonna say it.
Yeah, don't do it. Based on the look on your face, it'd be 10 times worse than what I was thinking.
Girl.
So. Guided only by the light on my phone, my heart was racing, and my clammy hands were trembling as I submerged deeper into the abyss of the pitch-black basement and down the very hallway where Corey warned us that a spirit
How the fuck
liked
it gonna
to
be pitch black when you have literally a 2019 potential iPhone light on your phone? That shit bright as fuck.
Right?
Ho.
Where the spirit liked to get handsy.
I'm not saying shit. Two gay men hanging out with a spirit that likes to get handsy.
That would be a
and
fun
motherfucking
time.
Austin Wolf just got arrested yesterday. Side note, did you hear about that?
I did not actually.
Quick aside.
Go for it.
Gay adult entertainer Austin Wolf has been arrested because they have found that he was sending and receiving child with videos depicting grape minus the G.
Yeah.
For anywhere from 0 months to 10 years old.
May you rot in fucking hell, sir.
May you honestly, if you've seen any, because it's not hard to come by his like work, shall I say?
Mm-hmm.
He has this fetish with like claiming that some of the guys in his videos are 18. We don't know. We hope they are.
Yeah.
But anyways, may Austin Wolf rot in literal hell.
Reflections, the podcast about all things pop culture from the 80s, the 90s, and beyond, whether it's movies, television, music, pro wrestling, toys, food, fashion, you name it. Anything I find interesting or anything I have a connection to, I reflect on this podcast. So please join me on this journey where I recount my connection to pop culture, fun details and facts, as well as interactions with folks all over the place. Join me, Pop Culture Reflections.
And as a reminder, this is part of the You Run Podcast Network, where you can find other fun and entertaining podcasts just like this one.
Anyways, so 2019 iPhone light lights up a really pitch black basement. And then what happens?
I noticed that the Wi-Fi signal on my phone was cutting in and out.
Because, bitch, you're in the fucking basement, ho.
And strangely, the battery was rapidly draining.
Because you have your light on,
and
ho.
It's probably cold as fuck. Like,
and
we all
your
know
phone in the winter wastes battery because it's trying to fucking, oh my god.
And you're trying to live stream at the same time.
So wait, you're telling me that, okay, so you've got a fucking live stream going, which that causes internet to be and battery used. You're saying that your phone is fighting for Wi-Fi, which causes battery to be used. You're saying that you're moving your phone around while having 3 active things going on, which also causes battery to be used. How come the fuck on? I don't believe this.
Let's keep going.
I'm sorry. I'm mad. I don't know who these people are, but I'm mad.
I'm pissed.
Revoke your gay card.
Which some ghost hunters claim happen when a spirit is siphoning energy used to manifest itself. I was overwhelmed with the feeling that there was something else down there with me. I stood still for a moment as I took in the silence that filled the space when suddenly I felt an undeniable tug on the back of my shirt, as if something was trying to get my attention. I gasped and spun quickly around, but nothing was there.
This sounds like it was written by a gay man.
Oh, just wait. The best
And
part.
trust me, one thing I know about gays, when I see my husband, I'm gonna give him that hawk too and spit on that thing. Like,
Just screamed for my boyfriend and ran
shut
back
the
up the
fuck
bed.
up, bitch! Not my lighting fixtures coming undone. I got that mad just now. Oh my god. Oh Jesus. Christy, keep talking. Christy, just keep talking. Folks, this has never happened. I've never gotten this angry before, but like, Jesus, you gotta understand where I'm coming from. It's hard, okay? It's hard out here for a pimp, okay? Jesus.
Okay, ran back up basement stairs.
Lord
with
in
every
heaven. I'm so sorry to anyone watching this episode, like, and listening to it in headphones.
We are on point today, guys. All
That's
right.
never happened in the history of like our 12 episodes.
With every step, I thought something might grab the back of my foot. I made it upstairs, latched the basement door shut, and told my boyfriend I never want to go down there again.
But Daddy, I don't want to go to school today. Like, oh God.
Startled by what just happened, I ended the live stream.
Shut the fuck up. And I'm not saying that to Christy. I'm saying this to the story. That's me.
My boyfriend felt we had enough excitement for the night and suggested that we go to bed. I agreed. I was surprised by how quickly he fell asleep considering what had just happened to me.
Not me. Not Hermione. You. Like, come the fuck on.
Oh my god. I wasn't sure if I would even be able to sleep.
Christy, this isn't real. You're making this up.
Sent you the link.
What news article is it through?
HuffPost.
Fuck off.
We were staying on the second floor in the bedroom located in the oldest part of the house. During our tour, Corey explained that our room once belonged to the youngest Perron daughter. She claimed that while sleeping there one night, a spirit told her there were bodies buried in the wall. Her parents were suspicious of her story, given that the walls were made of thick, solid plaster. But recent property surveys revealed human-sized burial sites located near a stone wall in the backyard in view of the bedroom window.
Y'all got me fucked up.
I was lying on the right side of the bed, looking directly at an antique rocking chair, which I continued to monitor for the slightest movement. My exhaustion was starting to wear on me, but the thrill of being in the actual Conjuring House and everything I had already experienced kept me awake. Sir, once you hit the point of exhaustion, you begin to see any and everything.
You begin to see, because your what is it? Your inhibitions
your cognitive,
your inhibitions are lessened, and then that gives room. But then how are you going to say you're so scared and then say the thrill of staying in the Conjuring House? Listen, I know. If there's one thing we need to keep straight, it's our story.
Words.
That's a good one.
That is a good one. The house was eerily silent, but it was so hot that I couldn't sleep under the blankets anymore.
Eat shit.
I kicked the comforter off of my legs, leaving my feet bare and exposed. And as soon as I started to settle, I finally heard it. The whisper from the hallway. I couldn't believe it. My entire body stiffened as I tried to process what was happening. Several moments passed, and I began to hear more whispers. And at this time, coming from the corner of our room, right behind the rocking chair.
No.
Whatever had been in the hallway was now in the bedroom with us, and I was frozen with fear. I couldn't quite make out specific words, but it sounded like a quiet conversation between at least two people, and it was distinct enough for me to know that something strange was taking place. Suddenly, I felt something lightly double tap my left foot. This was followed by an audible child's laugh coming from the closet. The adrenaline rushed through my veins as I once again developed full body chills and quickly pulled both my feet under the covers. I was certain I had just been touched by something. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying. I'm not trying. I gave up a while ago, about halfway through. The whisper stopped. The house fell silent again. I whipped out my phone and began to record in case any sound started up again. My eyes darted from the floor to the ceiling as I surveyed every inch of the room, but I constantly felt my gaze being pulled back to the rocking chair in the corner. The sound of a child's scream shattered the silence. It was more of a giddy, playful shout, but a scream nonetheless. I sensed that it was now coming from the very attic space where I believed I contacted the spirit of the little boy. My heart was beating out of my chest, and I thought about waking my boyfriend, who somehow was sleeping through all of this.
Me. I am
My
literally.
husband.
I just want to let our audience know I am hands down the deepest sleeper. We literally this was a while ago, but my husband's mother had to be taken into like paramedic care through with an ambulance.
Mhm.
Not
Didn't hear
one
any of it?
didn't fuck babe. I was out like a light.
Oh, goodness. I was determined to make it through the night, especially because I didn't feel like there was anything malevolent with us. The activity ceased, and I began to wonder if I was just if I had just experienced what really happened, or if it was my overactive imagination playing tricks on me.
I guarantee you those spirits were like, "Hi, gay, happy Pride Month." Like, I just know it. I just know it.
It was there. After what felt like hours, I managed to fall asleep. When I woke up the next morning, I forgot where I was.
You're lying to your mother.
Until I caught a glimpse of a burial site markers outside the window and realized we had just survived a night in the Conjuring House. I told my boyfriend everything I had experienced during the night, and he was upset but equally relieved that he slept through all the supposed paranormal activity.
The boyfriend was like, "Damn, babe, I'm so sorry you went through that. I got a good night's sleep." Wow, that sucks for you. I hit REM and I was out.
My dreams were fantastic.
Oh, I had great dreams.
As we packed up, Corey met us near our car and inquired about our night. As I began to share my story, he interrupted with, "Did any kids come out of the corner?" Or, "Did any of the kids come out?" Not out of the corner, sorry, guys. "Did any of the kids come out?" My heart nearly stopped, and I nodded yes. Yes, the children like to chatter at night, he stated very matter-of-factly. "It's the creepiest when they whisper your name." I was speechless. He just confirmed my experience. But see, the ghost didn't say his name. Alrighty, I'm done reading his stuff.
I just want to say this one more time.
Go for it.
If there's one thing we're going to keep straight,
it's our story. It's our story. It is our story. Like, our story.
He said, he just confirmed everything. The ghost didn't say your name, ho.
Thank you.
Hey.
All right, so we're going to
just end it.
So a couple of things before I do end it. One, no one ever looked into the actual story of Bathsheba. There are a couple, and I was trying to find her earlier.
Don't do that.
No, not Bathsheba.
Oh.
I was trying to look for the... I'm not that dumb.
Thank God.
I got that much going for me. Where is it? So and that's what made me mad was I was like, man, I can't, the one time I need to find the people I need to find on like Instagram or TikTok or something, I can't fucking find them. I can't remember their names. But she's a real pretty redhead, and she's a paranormal investigator. She's written some books. She's real, like, she's skeptical at the same time.
Mm.
So she's done a deep dive onto The Conjuring because there's quite a bit of investigators who actually don't agree with the Warrens and who don't like what the Warrens have done.
Gee, I wonder Hawaii?
Hawaii?
Maybe that's what they were meaning when they named Hawaii a state. They were like, Hawaii is this out in the ocean? Hawaii is I'm sorry.
We're not. Sorry. Don't come after us, guys. We know.
I love Hawaii.
I know. It's
I've
nice.
never been. They have a really good punch.
Mm-hmm. Stop it. With the little surfing. God. Shit.
Come on.
But she did a really good story, a little expose on it, because people after the Conjuring movies came out were actually desecrating this woman's grave. There is a Bathsheba Sherman. She is buried.
Why
in
would
that
you
town.
do that?
Because of the stories.
Why would you disrupt anything?
Because of the stories. So
Can I
Bathsheba,
guess something really quick?
go for it.
Are these people
Probably.
okay?
Probably.
Couldn't be me.
Could not.
Couldn't be my Middle Eastern ass.
I was
Nope.
raised Filipino way. Anyways, we were raised with like our version of Day of the Dead.
You just leave it be.
You leave it be and
Let
you
it
celebrate
die.
your ancestors. That's what you get.
Let it die.
But there's no actual found information that Bathsheba ever killed a child. There's nothing, right? And they say that part of her thing is that her children died, which is where this whole witchcraft comes into play. But it's actually found that one of her children did survive, and he became an adult, so he never died. So like there's a lot. There's a lot of things.
Again, if there's one thing we gonna keep straight,
it's our stories.
our story.
We're also going to research properly, guys. Like, don't just go to the first one that matches your thought process. Like, you need to...
Okay, just as someone who's studied psychology, what's really important about research, and I really do mean this on a serious note, what ends up killing authenticity in journalism and storytelling is genuinely confirmation bias. For those of you who don't know what confirmation bias is, you have a thought of something that has happened and go out and seek things that prove your opinions to be true. Now, just because your opinions are proven true doesn't mean that the encounters, events, or actuality of something is in fact 100% factual.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah. Got my degree and everything.
Thanks.
Well, since you got your degree and you know every fucking thing. Anyways, I'm sorry.
All right, so there's one more thing I want to go over. It's called the Skeptical Inquirer, and they are known to debunk a lot of the things because paranormal is still like a new age kind of thing.
Yeah, very. Hello, the podcast name.
I know, and there's not real good scientific ways to be able to discredit or prove paranormal. There's too many variants, so it's hard to keep a consistent, the way you would do a scientific experiment. Like, you can't really do it that well. So the Skeptical Inquirer is one of those groups that highly scientific minds like to dispel things. They especially love to go after the Warrens.
Gee, I wonder
why. So one of the skeptics from this group, and this was back in 2016, so after the movie, I believe that was after the movie. Yeah, because the movie came out in 2012 or 2013.
Yeah, one of the five.
So this said, I analyzed the Perron's claims of demonic activity and showed that they were consistent with the effects of strong wind misinterpretations, schoolgirl pranks, vivid dreams, simple suggestion, role-playing, and other factors, including one child's having an imaginary playmate and the effects of memory after some 30 or 40 years. There was some influence with Ed and Lorraine Warren, the demonologist and clairvoyant respectively, who had made a dubious career of convincing such troubled people that they were plagued by demons while seeking book deals and encouraging their co-authors, and this is found, you can find it in a couple different places, who admit to fabricating some elements to make the book scary. They never used anyone that was someone who written like in a biography type of standpoint. They always used fiction writers. That would be my youngest knocking on my door.
Mom.
So
I told you, lock your door, leave Welch's fruit snacks at the outside.
I try, man, but you know what? He's feral. He is
Trust
straight.
me, I know. Didn't he come into
He
the
did.
last week or something?
He did. He's feral.
Oh my god! If you watch that on YouTube, comment below.
Let us know how it was. So there was a couple who obtained this property in 1987 and had lived there until the present, so 2016. That reported no demonic activity, yet the two had been plagued by a conjuring instigated siege on their property. According to legal papers filed in their lawsuit against Warren Brothers Studios, uninvited people suddenly appeared on their property while others were making harassing phone calls at night. There had been internet discussions about destroying the 18th century residence because of it's full of evil, among other outrages. So the owner, Norma, invited this person to her 18th century property in mid-June of 2016 to see for herself how much, much of the rest of the evidence behind the fictionalized and fantasized story. Guided by her, I toured the historic Arnold Richardson house and property, visited old cemeteries in the area, searched archival records in Harrisville Town Hall and Library, all helping to dispel the falsehoods and exaggerations that have been used to promote this utterly bogus claim of demonic activity and demonic possession. So Norma walked me through the historic house from cellar to attic, where I saw the locations of many of the occurrences reported by the family that were supposed to give evidence to the demonic presence. Dark passages, with what the Perones would come to think was an ominous warning. The previous owner told Roger, for the sake of your family, leave the lights on at nights. This was back in 2011. But Norma found that the light would have been needed downstairs so the family members could get to the bathroom in the middle of the night from their far-flung bedrooms on the second floor, requiring treks through multiple rooms that were dangerously dark. The man obviously had given practical advice, not a warning of supernatural entities. In fact, he made no mention of it. The apparitions that popped up in Carolyn's bedroom, which was the mother. Carolyn once stirred from sleep to feel a presence and see a grotesque female figure looming over her while she was immobilized. Clearly, she experienced a common waking dream that occurs between sleep and wakefulness, coupled with sleep paralysis since her body was in still mode. And this was not the only waking dream to occur with the Perones. So opening of the cellar door, this had a habit of partially opening at night, even after the family remembered locking it. Also, when someone walks past the door, it might suddenly open behind the person's back. Norma explained that the door was a bit warped, and it had an antique latch that didn't fully engage. The temperature fluctuations, which is true, our front door makes creaking noises, depending if it's hot or cold outside, could cause the latch to release and the door to pop open. It was never actually locked, only latched. So like one of those like gate latches.
You say gay latches?
Gate.
Oh.
Sorry.
Well,
same thing.
Either way. Looks like that gate isn't the only thing getting probed. Anyways,
right?
God, we're gonna.
Or
lose
when
everything.
someone walked by, depressing the floorboard, and the latch could release again, and the door would open. Norma and Jerry had fixed the door after they moved in and discovered the problem. So, locking the attic room door. On one occasion, two girls were playing with the Ouija board in the attic room when they were unaccountably locked in the attic by evil entities. Actually, the door had the same type of latch as the cellar door, and if the door had been pulled unthinkingly or had been allowed to swing after the girls entered, the latch bar would bounce upward as the door closed and then drop to engage in the locking of the girls inside the room. No demons were needed. I'm sorry.
The way that ended.
Dead people in the walls. Young Cindy Perrone claimed that she could feel spirits in her bedroom, insisting there were 7 dead soldiers buried in the wall. That's random. However, the walls were only 7 inches thick, we measured, so that could have never happened. She also perceived a whole bunch of people eating in our dining room and several little ghosts, native children, playing near nearby Pine Grove. Her claims were surely only the imaginations of a child who exhibited many of the traits of a fantasy proneness. The fly infestation.
Okay.
All right, so the fly infestation. Andrea Perron wrote in the pages about houseflies in their home appearing unaccountable even in the middle of a deep winter. There were clusters of them huddled together as if plotting their next move, she concluded. Or plotting their next move. She concluded it was far more than an infestation, it was a manifestation. In time, inexplicably, the phantom flies disappeared, she said, but over the years, later, Lorraine Warren would arrive and explain that the flies were there with a purpose and a reason, and were basically saying that something was about to come. In fact, clues to the real explanation were found in her own words, which indicated that the infestation was probably caused by housefly lookalikes called cluster flies that behave as described. They're explained by science, not by demonology. Okay.
So what you're saying is...
So what we're saying is we have debunked a lot. All right, numerous people have been alleged to have died in the tragic house, an implication being that their unrequited spirits haunt the place or that they somehow have been transformed into malevolent entities or demonic presences. But are the facts about the death of the people alleged involved? Historical research reveals the eye-opening truth. The central figure, is a witch named Bathsheba Sherman. Based on amateurish research of local records and lore and later confirmations via psychics, Carolyn Perron focused on Bathsheba, allegedly accused but acquitted of murdering an infant as part of a ritual sacrifice to strike a deal with the devil. It was even said that Bathsheba had hung herself in the barn near the Perron home. Time came when the demons were consolidated, when Miss Warren referred to the God-forsaken spirit as the lone demonic presence in their house, calling her Bathsheba. In fact, as we shall see later, no records are known to confirm any allegations against Bathsheba. She was buried next to her husband in the Riverside Cemetery in Harrisville, where her tombstone records her date of death as May 25th, 1885. The town records give the cause of death as paralysis. In her obituary, it corroborates the cause of sudden attack of paralysis, almost certainly, probably a stroke. Her funeral services were conducted by a Baptist minister, one of the various facts belying the claim that she was a witch. But if she didn't hang herself in the barn, maybe it was instead Susan Arnold, age 93, as later claimed by the mother, Carolyn. Alas, despite the Arnold surname, her suicide was at her home elsewhere in Harrisville Road. According to the newspaper clipping from 1866, Susan was the 50-year-old wife of John Arnold. She locked herself in the attic storeroom where she was found hung from a wardrobe hook with a very small cord. Other Arnold deaths wrongly assigned to the farmhouse include those of Prudence Arnold in 1849 and Johnny Arnold in 1911. Prudence wasn't even 12 when she was murdered, her throat slashed by a jilted suitor. She was 12? Jesus. At the home of her step-parents in Massachusetts. So we weren't even in the same state. Despite, 57-year-old Johnny Arnold committed suicide by taking a dose of Paris green, which is insecticide and rodent poisoning, near his home in Tarklin. I don't know where that is. If anyone knows where that is, please let me know.
How do you spell it?
Tarkiln.
Tarkiln.
All right, some of the other alleged...
Pensacola, Florida.
Oh, well, that was far. That was not at the farmhouse. Clearly.
Or it's like in the Pensacola
area. All right. Some other alleged deaths on this historic house property have no known basis. In fact, these include the infant whom Bathsheba allegedly killed, the wound presumably inflicted with a needle through the base of the skull, and one or more of Bathsheba's own children, who she have rumored to have drowned in the basement well. Jesus. There's no available document record of Bathsheba or anyone else for that matter having killed an infant. Had any such documentation been known, it would more than likely be recorded in what is known as the Black Book of Buryville, a list of unusual deaths in the township from 1806, compiled by historians. So, there you
So
go.
basically, the Warrens is fake.
We don't research.
This
I
is what
mean,
happens when you take like stuff as gospel.
yeah. Yes. Not to say that there might not be anything creepy. Now, I love, we all know this, I love watching paranormal investigators. If you've ever watched them, they're the Ghost Brothers. They're on Discovery Plus and Max. And I think they fall under the Travel Channels group.
Isn't that cute?
They're African American. They're three best friends. They're hilarious, and that's why I love watching them, because they make it fun.
Best friends that anyone could have.
And this one season, they all took turns picking haunted locations. So the opening location was the Conjuring House, because Marcus knew that, and I can't remember his other name, and now I feel bad, was really obsessed with this house and was like, this is where we're going, guys. Now, they do some funny shit. Dewan goes up to the second floor in that bedroom where everyone stays, including where the guy stayed with his boyfriend. But he's like, well, if I have to sleep up here, let me go ahead and get comfy. He puts on like silk pajamas and everything, but for some strange reason, he decides to like handcuff himself to the bed.
Oh my god.
But, and he's blindfolded, so he doesn't see anything, right? The door does creak open. Just slowly creaks open. But again, it could be a weather fluctuation. It could be like heat or cold fluctuation, right? But it's fun to watch. I don't discredit anyone's experiences because I wasn't there. But sometimes they sound pretty outlandish, like the guy we read earlier. And I'm going to have that linked in our show notes.
Oh, the HuffPost link?
Yes.
Yeah, put that in the show notes. Put that like that.
Put that.
Come
we gotta
on.
do that.
Come on.
I'll do that. I'll do the Skeptical Inquirer that I just read. But yeah. What you think, Nina?
What?
What's up,
It's
Scooby-Doo?
just I'm gonna be so honest. This like, call it the way that you read it, maybe call it logic. But like, if you're going to some place and you're basing and you're the whole basis of like an internet interview is because of things people talked about in a movie, babe, you have about as much credit as the people who email the elderly and tell them they're a Nigerian prince.
Yeah.
Like,
yes. Or the newest one right now going around is I am the ex-wife of Jeff Bezos and I want to give you money.
That's a new one?
That's a new one.
Bitch.
What
are your thoughts?
So like, do I think something that old could potentially be haunted? Yes. I mean, it's like it goes all the way back to like the 1700s, maybe even the 1600s. But there's other stuff that happens. You know, like, we're in Connecticut. That's one of the area that's like the areas where, you know, the English were coming over and basically telling Native Americans, hey, this isn't your place anymore. Do I think there was like bloodshed and stuff? Yes. Do I think that tragedy happens everywhere? Yes. Energy picks up, it soaks in, you know. Hell, you could literally build a new house and be haunted if that's the case, really, because of the land. But do I think that it was I think we fantasize and sensationalize and capitalize on the Salem witch trials, because I mean, we're talking about Connecticut and all of that area, and that is an area that was rampant during the witch trials. And anytime we can't explain something, especially way back then, if we couldn't explain something, we automatically went to the woman and was like, you're evil, you're a witch.
It reminds me of that video that's like, if the men find out we can shapeshift, they're going to tell the church. Like, that's literally what all of today gave me.
Men like no nose.
You must have no nose.
One time he walked in on me and I had to act like I was bipolar.
No,
and
but
I
seriously,
was
that
talking
line.
to cat shit. What?
If the men find out we can
That's
shapeshift, they're going to
going-
tell the church.
Have you ever seen the video by the original creator?
Yes.
Oh my god, I had that shit on repeat. I was like, this is fabulous. It gives
Go ahead,
it
sorry.
just it gives like it gives that whole, so it goes one of two ways. You're either going to get absolutely big fanatics of like, you can't tell me this isn't real, and then you get the ones that are like, guys, are you really that fucking stupid?
Are y'all dumb?
Right? And I mean, that's what I just read. I read a guy who completely sensationalized it in his brain because his boyfriend didn't. They were in the same fucking room. Like, I know my husband sleeps really deep, but I can tell you right now, if something creepy happens, he's the first bitch I'm waking up. And be like, hey man.
One thing about this elbow,
It flies.
like that's.
But like, I don't. Like, even his story over, like, it over, like, it was like such an over exaggeration.
It's over sensationalized.
Yeah.
It's meant to be like, it's like click porn or like not click porn.
Kind of like TMZ.
Yeah, it's literally that. It's meant to be baited.
Mm-hmm.
And again, who knows? Maybe there is some like factual things that happen and everything, but like the way that you broke it down, it's like you went off of the movie. Your entire interview with HuffPost, sir, is based off of a movie. And also, respectfully, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you going into a place that's like supposedly haunted?
But think about it. They kept so much of like the original floorboards and stuff. It's going to make noise.
Things are going to, like, listen, the home, the like your house kind of breathes. Like, doesn't
because
matter.
it's made by material that
unless your home is like built on a foundation where the concrete is like 10 feet in the ground.
Yeah. And you haven't done any add-ons, you haven't had to make any fixes, there isn't some damage somewhere.
Your home's gonna breathe.
Yeah, and if everyone lives in an area where clearly our weather fluctuates like fucking crazy. So, like, yeah, no, Now, I will say they do over-sensationalize it, too, on TikTok. I don't know if you've ever followed that account. There is the Conjuring House TikTok.
Bye. No,
they do have a replica. I'll call it a replica of the... Who is it? Annabelle doll?
The rag doll or like the buckle fat doll?
The rag doll. Now, I plan to cover that one too. I plan to cover Annabelle because there are some things that I question the shit out of on that one.
Let me see this.
Yeah.
What is it called? The Conjuring House?
You should just have to type in the Conjuring House.
Oh,
and it should have its own.
Took 2 seconds.
Yep.
There's no... Oh, the Conjuring House official.
Mm-hmm.
331.7 thousand followers.
Yeah.
3.6 million likes. Okay, so my thing is this. The moment you have to succumb to internet marketing, if it's haunted, let it stand as is.
I mean,
if it's truly haunted.
Yeah. If it's truly haunted. Now, I'll use St. Augustine as my prime example for this. A lot of the bed and breakfasts are haunted. They won't tell you what room.
Sure.
But it's historic. Though.
It's historic. There's bound to be some shit that's attached. I stayed at the in Bisbee. I stayed at the Copper Queen Hotel. Yeah. And I stayed on the top floor, the 10th floor. I stayed in the Teddy Roosevelt room, the corner suite.
Maybe
it's bound to have some. But I mean, we were fine.
Right.
The one thing that I didn't like is like the fact that like the toilet was right next to like the biggest window in the entire bathroom, and I'm like, yeah, I don't like that. But I mean, you're bound. I feel like if you think about something, if your mind is gonna put you in a state of like fight or flight,
If you're already like expecting something,
if you're already expecting something, your mind is going to trick you to tell
Mm-hmm.
you that it's there. It's proven stuff.
Yeah.
The one time in my life where I had experiences with a djinn, I think that's what
Mm-hmm.
it's called.
Yeah.
Is I was living with my ex best friend and her baby daddy. And no, I was the only one home because I was doing social work. I was the only one home. And I heard what sounded like flip flops dropping on the floor. And I
Mm-hmm.
called out and I was like, hey, so and so, are you here? But then we all had dinner that night. And I was like, hey, was anyone home at this time?
Right.
They're
You
like, no,
question it.
you're like, you were home alone. I'm like, I heard flip flops drop. Like,
I
so,
think one part of The Conjuring that really pisses me off, not the movie, although it does piss me off in the movie too. The one thing that makes me mad about the whole thing is we relied on Hollywood. Hollywood said, that seems really interesting. And Hollywood's
let's
smart. They're
embellish
like,
it.
people are really loving the paranormal right now. Because like in 2012, 2013, you turn on like Travel Channel, History Channel, and all those, and you're going to get, there's a cryptids team out in the woods. There's shit happening in Alaska. My house is haunted. There's this, there's that. So yes, capitalize on it. Absolutely. Do I think any of that shit is fucking true whenever you're talking about Lorraine Warren going, I didn't let them over dramatized any of this. This is all true. Bullshit. Bull fucking shit, because you let your writers in your book do that.
It's just another check for her.
Right.
This brings me back to our friends over at Ghost Watch.
Dead Watch.
Dead Watch, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I genuinely apologize. They kind of mentioned the same thing. We kind of had that discussion of like the debunking and like the actuality and factuality.
Yes.
There's a lot can happen with your mind, with how tired you are, with the wind, with the age of the house, with anything.
So to back on that one. So there was a series. Now, I will say this, obviously both Warrens have passed. They did have a daughter. She does not take part in any of their shit paranormal.
Oh, she was like, fuck y'all.
But the son-in-law did. So he is the one that travels around with the Annabelle doll. He's the one that goes and still capitalizes on the Warrens, right?
It's just like Selena's family, not Selena Gomez, Selena
I know.
Quintanilla Perez. Her family, they be selling stories, pictures, all of that. It's not the same thing, but in the sense of like.
So if you want to see now,
does he go on tour with the Annabelle doll?
Yeah. Yes. And took it out of the case and everything.
Are
and
you
was
fucking
Nope. So that is where I start questioning things. I'm like, so you're saying this thing and your in-laws were never take this out of the case, never do this, never do, and here you are, you're doing it. So like, is it true? Did we capitalize on people with their mental health and maybe they had some instabilities and we just capitalized on that and went and said, you're possessed? Because that was a known thing. That was a known thing back before psychology and stuff really.
Recently, like within the last 35 years.
Right.
Like, he took, oh my God. Bruh.
Right. Now, another thing you can watch on Netflix, it's called, oh fuck, what is it? I covered it. I'll have to look in our episodes. So there's this, I think it's like 6 episodes or something. He capitalized on the Warrens' theory that you have to submerge yourself. This is what also kind of, now that I know that family lived in the house for 10 years, because the movie made it seem like that wasn't over the span of 10 fucking years. That movie made it seem like it was over the span of like a month.
I was gonna say.
But they have this theory where if you submerge yourself for 28 days straight with no contact to the outside world in a haunted location, you are bound to pierce the veil.
Or if you have no contact with the outside world,
And with the same 3 people, day in and day out, 28 days straight for 24 hours a day.
Do you know how like terribly fucked your psychosis is gonna get?
Mm-hmm.
Again, confirmation bias. Ugh,
So yeah,
fuck
it's
this.
I like it. I'll say it every time. I don't discredit anyone's experiences. I will question the shit out of you though,
Yeah, that's exactly it.
because I don't automatically believe in things. I like to do my deep dives before I like wholeheartedly.
Exactly.
I'm like, I believe in this whole.
I won't question your truth. I won't unbelieve your truth.
Mm-hmm.
I'll question what makes it truthful.
Yeah, I'll question if there was a lot of bias behind it, because a lot of the things with the Warrens capitalized a lot on possessions, and like everyone can't be possessed.
Girl,
I'm
not
sorry.
everybody is given exorcism of Emily Rose.
Same thing with the ghost adventures. Everything can't be demonic in a house, in a building, in an island.
Some things are just old.
Some things are. Some things, I mean, are there absolutely there's ghosts and stuff. There's
Absolutely.
energy, and you don't see energy all around you. You just but like everyone's not don't worry, when we're haunting people, we're going to be screaming out Britney Spears lyrics.
Could you imagine when I die? Could you imagine when I die and everyone's like, oh God, I feel so peaceful in this house. And I'm just going to be like, is your alone? Come check me out in the basement.
Right? Toxic fun. I love it.
Oh my God. Oh, I just picked a scab that my cat bit at me a couple weeks ago. Now I'm bleeding.
You're bleeding.
The red water. Sorry.
It's okay.
This was very, I don't know, makes me question a whole bunch of shit. I've been questioning this shit.
Yeah, I do too.
I believe in the paranormal and I believe in like the ghosts and all that stuff, but like,
I also believe in science.
I also believe in facts.
Yeah, common sense.
I believe in common sense, logic, science, facts. It's a great thing to have an imagination because it kind of like lets you explore the possibilities of what you can do, things that you can accomplish. Of course, have an imagination. But bitch,
let's have our common sense.
Let's not imagine these demons.
Right? Well, so my other thing is that like I have come to really like different paranormal investigators who really do deep dive into their own evidence to make sure that like it's debunk. And then if you can't debunk it any further, then it's a possibility, but we're not automatically.
Yeah.
Right? So I'll give a shout out. Dr. Ghost Hunters do a great job. They're on YouTube.
Yes.
You can follow them on Instagram.
Come on, Doc.
Dead Watch does really good with it too.
Love Dead Watch.
If we're gonna go mainstream, Ghost who was the first ones? Not Ghost Adventures, there was another one. Ghost Hunters. They were the ones. But then at the same time they got caught
doing some shit
they shouldn't have been and saying it was haunted. So, you know, you gotta have a healthy side of like skepticism to everything. Not even just this, just everything.
There has to be a little bit of skepticism.
Yes.
You have to even have a little bit of skepticism within your own goals, I think. But anyhow.
Anyways. That's the episode.
That's the episode.
That's the
I
episode.
loved it.
Yeah.
Just remember that if you are listening to this on any podcasting platform, please give us a 5-star review, a subscription, and what else did we say? A like, a favorite, whatever you can. It helps us tremendously.
Favorite, follow, all the way.
All the way. Be sure to check out our Instagram, Paranormal Misfits Podcast. Be sure to also check out our merchandise because that helps us tremendously.
Yes, it does.
Thank you to You Run Podcast Network. Thank you to our sponsors, Nino and Chrissy.
And our husbands. Who deal with us every Saturday,
Desi.
locking us up.
Shout out Desi.
Shout out Desi. Who's now made us a group chat on Instagram.
Oh yeah, we have an entire. Oh God. Fuck.
Shout out to the paranormal lovers who keep shouting me out everywhere because I'm like one of their main supporters.
Absolutely.
Love you guys. Shout out to the Rambling Broads as well. I got a little voice note from Alicia that had me dying last night.
Love it. Oh, I love them Rambling Broads.
Yeah.
Shout out to my friends over at Morbid.
Scaredy.
Scaredy. Shout out to Scaredy Cast.
Evil Izzy's.
Evil Izzy's Haunted Emporium. And then there's, God, I just can't wait till August so I can announce it.
I know, I'm so excited for that one.
Can't wait to announce it. I think once I like physically meet them in person and it gets confirmed, then I'll be like, okay, now we can talk about this.
Now we got this.
But anything else you want to add before I close the door on today's episode?
But if you guys have any suggestions on maybe a haunting or something you want us to cover and deep dive into, please feel free to DM us or email us. Everything's in the show notes. If you need the email, I think it's in the link tree on our Instagram.
I think so.
It might even be on our TikTok.
Maybe. And if you're interested in becoming a sponsor, because we do have really great rates right now for anyone interested in being a sponsor, feel free to message me on Instagram or TikTok at official Nino Daniel.
For those who want to be guests, you can reach out to me over at the paranormalmisfitpod at gmail.com.
Yeah.
Yep. Alrighty.
Well, that was the longest fucking closing. Okay.
Hell yeah, we came up with everything, man. We were like, tick, tick, tick,
make sure you do this and this and this and this. Well, if there's nothing else to say, y'all, I know you don't want to leave, but since you do have to go, you might as well creep out. Love you.
Have fun, guys.